Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new. If you are new, my name is Shan from HomeWithShan over on Instagram, and this is baby George. George is 4 months old, almost 5 months old now, and he has been teething for a very long time. And I really wanted to talk to you guys about good products that I've used at least, or George has used, to help him through teething. He's still very much in that period. I'm very aware that things could get worse, and I'm very aware things could get a lot better. However, we've been using a few little bits and bobs, and I did want to tell you about them because a lot of them are really good. Some are better than others. So I just wanted to talk to you guys really about all the bits I've got off Amazon, and George has been really enjoying actually, and really he's actually staring at one of them right now. So it's the thing we're probably gonna start with. I'm just popping George on the bed and I'm gonna pop these down with him as well. But these are the Nubby Keys. The Nubby Keys, I'm pretty sure we all have seen them. I'm pretty sure I had one when I was a baby. They're like iconic for baby teething. But basically they're a bright, colourful set of baby keys, and the teether part of it, well, he can put any part of it in his mouth, which is totally fine as long as it's sterilised. But the rubber part has got, so the key bit has got some sort of gel inside, and it's basically marketed so that you can put this in the freezer and then take it out, and the gel won't freeze. It will sort of just go really, really cold, and it'll be really nice and soothing on their gums. However, I have been told since I did that it's actually against the guidelines to put teethers in the freezer because it can get to a temperature that is too cold and it could actually take the skin off of their gums. So since I learned that and learned that it was against the guidelines, I haven't done it. But generally, as a not cold teether, so not in the freezer, it's really good as well. So obviously do your research and decide what you want to do, but sometimes George does get really hot, so the idea of something cold actually was a really great idea to me. But obviously if it is against guidelines, there's obviously a reason for that. But I have to say, probably of everything, that is the one he reaches for the most, and I'm pretty sure it is because, one, the material is so nice on their gums. It's so easy for him to hold because there's the nice round ring as well. He holds that, and then he also kind of gets the keys in his mouth, and he's just playing with it now. I would love to take a little video for you guys, but I've got plenty of videos and I'll have them up on the screen as I'm talking. Because of the bright colours, he is so attracted to it. I like to go for things normally that are quite like understated and pale and sort of like pastel colours, but babies don't like it. And yeah, I definitely have been converted to the bright colours because that is what George likes, and that's what I'm going to give him. The next thing I wanted to talk about was this Knobby glove. So you've probably seen these as well, and these are basically teething gloves, and you put them on the baby's hand, so it saves them putting their hands in their mouth, which they do constantly. George is definitely one of those babies. Saves him from putting his hand in his mouth, and he can chew on this rubbery bit here. This goes around his little wrist. I have to say though, it's quite big, so if he wasn't wearing any clothes, this comes off of him quite quickly. So if he's wearing clothes like a long sleeve vest or a top or a baby girl or something, this fits on fine. But if you've got a smaller baby, then just be warned that this is actually quite a big size for a baby's hand. However, it is really, really good. George loves it, literally constantly putting it in his mouth. Again, I'll put a video up on the screen. And the good thing about this as well is it crinkles. So every time they move their hand, they've got that crinkling sound, which is amazing, because then they can learn that if they move their hand, so the cause and effect of that is that this will crinkle if they move their hand. So I really liked that in there as well. Really, really good. The only thing again with this is there's only one when you order it. So if your baby kind of cottons onto the fact that they can't get their hand with this, sometimes they'll use this and put it in their mouth. The other times they'll just use their other hand that this isn't on and put that in their mouth. So it kind of depends. I think this is really good because it saves him from munching on his fingers, and also the dribble goes onto this rather than his clothes. And there's a lot of dribble when it comes to teething, let's face it guys. But yeah, this is actually a really, really good product. I would say this is something for smaller babies that can't yet grasp things, if they're early teethers maybe, or if they're just lazy babies and they don't like holding things and they just drop it. They can't really drop this unless, like I said, they're not wearing clothes and they're a smaller baby. It does come off sometimes, but really, really good. I think this is a really good product, to be fair. Next up we have Matchstick Monkey, and this is one of the ones I've had for ages. Literally I got this for George way before Christmas, and he's always really liked it because it's so easy to hold. Even when they're just really, really tiny and they've got the little fingers around it, it's really easy for him to hold, and you can sort of grasp any bit. It's all made from the same material, and what I also really like is you can put a teething gel or a teething powder in these little nubbly bits, and it holds it really well for them to teeth in. What I would say is this isn't as bright as his Nubby Keys, so he does tend to go for the keys more than this. However, I do really like this because it does have those nubbly bits. It can be like simulating toothbrush kind of thing as well. I really like the idea behind this, and it's so easy for him to hold. Even in the early days, this was something that he was holding like all the time, so I really do rate this. It is a little bit more expensive than the other things though, I would only say that. I think it's like £10 on Amazon. I do think it's worth it though, I really like it. Another thing we've been using, and they were really good, I've only used it once, but they're all in the freezer at the moment, and it's basically these little trays that you can put little ice pops in, or milk pops that I've been using, obviously because George isn't eating anything other than his milk at the moment. So I put some formula in, well I made some formula up, 2 ounces of formula, and then poured like half an ounce each into these little lollipop molds, and George loved it. Oh my gosh, it was very messy. I was a little bit worried because obviously on the box it says 9 months plus, so I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't use it. But I was kind of giving it to George, and he wasn't like munching down on it, and like he wouldn't get the ice or anything. He was literally just like licking the thing, but because the ice and the coolness of it was really nice on his gums, it helped him with his teething. Plus he gets very flushed recently, especially with teething and things like that. He's just temperatures all over the place, so that really helped. It definitely helped, and I would definitely recommend it, especially if your little one's a little bit older than George. I would say maybe that's even better, because George was a little bit unsure as to how to hold it and stuff, but I definitely think it's a really good idea. And obviously when he's older you can use it for like little frozen fruit, frozen yogurt, that kind of thing. So I think that'd be really good, especially in the summer. So teethers aside, let's talk about the things that you can use to soothe the teething in terms of like medication or that kind of thing. So in the past, not all at one go obviously, I have used Calpol, I have used baby Nurofen or baby ibuprofen, and I have used teething powder. So of the three, I would say the ibuprofen works the best, as in works the best, soothes for the longest period of time and that kind of thing. However, I wouldn't like to use that every single day, because obviously you're giving your baby a lot of medication that way, and it's, you know, I just didn't want to over drug him, do you know what I mean, just because he's teething. But if he's in a lot of pain and can't do anything without like being really red in the cheeks and like really struggling with things, then of course I will give him some baby Nurofen. But the alternative, which I found, which is so good, and the reason I found it is because you guys told me about it. Like, you guys on Instagram, I asked you guys about teething products, and this was the highest rated thing that you said, which was the Ashton and Parsons teething powder. And this apparently has been around for years and years, which I didn't know, obviously I wouldn't have known that, but my mum said that she used this with me as well, and I got this on Amazon. I think you can get it in Boots, Tesco's, all those kind of places as well. But this is a baby teething powder, and when I heard teething powder, I wasn't really sure how on earth you would apply that, how would it work, how would it come. So I'm just going to show you. This one came with 20 sachets, and this is a sachet. So, and it comes with literally the tiniest amount of powder in it, barely anything at all. And on the back it has guidelines as to how you should use it in terms of your baby's age. Yeah, and in terms of how much you should use. So for 3 to 6 months, which is where George is at, it says use a teaspoon to give the powder, half the contents of the sachet in the morning, or half in the evening. So basically leaving a nice gap between the doses, and there's only a tiny amount of powder, so it's really not a lot. I tend to not give it to him in the day, and then give him half a sachet at night just before he goes to bed after his last bottle, and that way he's got that relief in his gums before he's sleeping, so it helps him to get to sleep and stay to sleep for longer, hopefully. And you know what, it has, again, 8 times out of 10, I like to use that little fraction, 8 times out of 10 it has really worked. So I really rate this stuff. This is really good, and I like to put it on the Matchstick Monkey. I pour the powder in there and it will be held in there, and he'll just chew on it himself rather than me having to put my fingers in his mouth or a teaspoon in his mouth or anything like that. He just likes to munch on this, it'll go on his gums, and I don't know, it just works. It just really works. So thank you everyone that recommended this, because it was genuinely, I would say, of the medical things that you kind of give, so out of Calpol, Nurofen and the teething powder, this is definitely what I would say is the best for me to use, sort of not daily but every other day maybe, or if he's really struggling then you can give like the 2 doses in a day. So this is something that I would definitely highly recommend to anyone that's struggling with teething, or well, anyone any baby that's struggling with teething, but also any mums and dads that are struggling with babies teething. Another thing that George has been doing to sort of help himself with teething is putting his thumb in his mouth. And I mentioned this on Instagram and I got a ridiculous response, so I don't want to go into it too much. But I did take his dummy away about 2 weeks ago now, and that's been great. But the reason I took it away basically was in the night, or even at naps, as soon as it would come out, he would scream and cry, and I had to put it back in every 20 minutes. It was ridiculous. So I took it away, and since taking it away, night sleeps has been, like, they've been so good, so good. He doesn't wake up, and I think he's been using his hands to like self-soothe and everything like that, which is amazing. I really love that, but the thumb sucking is like in the last couple of days, or maybe the last week he's started, and it is constant. So it's something I'm just going to keep an eye on. I don't care really at this point in time, but obviously if it becomes a habit and he's still sucking his thumb by the time he's 10, that might be a problem. So I just want to keep an eye on it, but I thought I would mention it in this video because it's definitely a teething thing 100%, because I can see that he's running his finger. He's not always sucking it, he's always just like running it along his gums. So I think he's using it as a way to soothe himself when the teethers aren't around. So the reason I would say to get a couple of teethers is so that you've got one always clean at any one time. So if one's in the sterilizer, or you're washing one up, or one's just fallen on the floor, you've got another to hand. But to me, the standout winner for George in terms of teethers is definitely the Nubby Keys. He loves them, he always grabs them, always drops them, but he does really like them. I would say they're all really good, like all different ones have different reasons as to why you would get them. If they constantly drop something, maybe go for the glove. If they really like the bright colours, maybe go for the keys. If they've got really tiny hands and they need something to hold on to, maybe this. Or if you're going to use the powder, to use the back of the monkey's head on this little guy, then that would be really good as well. The teething powder though is so good, and I really highly recommend that one. It's a struggle, especially at the moment. I would say that 4 months is hard. That's a hard period. Like for me, 100% it is the hardest stage that we've hit so far. I'm sure there are many more hard stages to come, but compared to newborn days, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months is hard. Like, he is going through the sleep regression, he's teething, you know, there's just so much. He's learning new things, so that's all going on in his head. He's more alert and things like that, so he's always wanting attention. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to log off now and I'm going to go and entertain my little nugget with your teethers and all your other fun. But I really hope you found this video helpful in some way or another. Look, where is he trying to go? I definitely would have liked this kind of video when sort of George started to get teething, because I didn't know what was good, what was rubbish, but thankfully, because of you guys telling me the really good things that you use and stuff, I could use all of your like information as like market research and get all the really good things and pull together this kind of video. It's a really quick video. He is very fidgety right now, so I am gonna go. But I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a like if you like these kind of videos, and let me know in the comments if you have any really good teething things that you think I might need in the future, or anyone else for that matter. Love you guys, bye.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, 'cause you glue all the pieces back together.